Hi, everybody. This is Phillip Guan, CPA. Welcome to the class number 3 of how to do tax returns. Doing tax return is fun and it's easy. So we have been talking for 2 different classes. So what we are going to talk today is this. Okay, let me show you what we are going to talk today. Okay, today is number 3. Just give me 1 second. I think it should work. Window cannot complete the information. Oh, I think it's in here already. I opened it already. Okay, this is number 3 tax return. So we do W2 income, which we learn it. Okay. Earned income credit, we learn it in class number 1. Child tax credit, we learn it in class 1. Do you remember the head of household? Advanced child tax credit, we learn it. Childcare expenses, we learn it. Hey, we learn them all. So this number 3 we learn is a review of what we have been learned. Okay. So now the first classes was head of household. So now this number 3 scenario is a married person. It is 2 together, live together, have 2 small kids. So it's a family of 4. It's a family of 4. So they both their kids, so they qualify as a qualified child for these couples with their own kids. So this is the taxpayers' information. This is the spouse. Now, in a tax return, taxpayer, most of the people will put husband as a taxpayer and the wife as the spouse. That is not always the case, and some will use the wife as the taxpayer and the husband as the spouse. We respect their decision. Is there any tax advantage? No. But most of the time, when you accept a client, they are not first year file tax return. So you have the last year tax return and normally should consistently follow year by year because the IRS use the taxpayers' social to as the ID for the files. If you flip-flop around, this kind of the record is not that cool. And also easy to trick it audits. So just consistent. So here's the dependent. There are 2 kids. Okay. They also have an advanced child tax credit. The first kid, they also have dependent care, which means send them to child care centers. They are pretty young. So the income was full-time. There's a W2. Here's a W2. There's another W2. they have health insurance, we need to do the due diligence. So now, I want you to watch in the short video created by Dre Tax Software, which is very great. So let me show you, where is it? Okay. The very first one. So we are in class number 3. Oh, let me show you a solution. At the end of the day, what the tax return is going to look like. Okay. I like to give you the picture of what the finished product. So that way, when you working together, it's easier to work toward. So now, this husband and wife, this their family information. There's both kids. There's W2, put 2 together already. And then the used itemized standard deduction. Now, this is already the new 2022 tax return. Because this one was created by Dre Tax Software. Obviously, they have a tax software in-house for 2022, but we as a CPA, we don't have it yet. They normally release in early January. So therefore, for me, when I do the practice, will be the year of 2021 tax software. And you will see the difference. There is some huge difference. So now it looks like, so the refund is 9649. So now, and then there will be 2441. There will be earned income credit. And also their advanced tax credit. Now, in here, those due diligence questions. That's the end result. So now let me go to the video. Oh, I need to share some, so that way it's better for you. Oh, it's already here.
Practice Return 3, 1040 Individual Tax Return. In this scenario, practice entering a 1040 individual tax return in Drake Tax 2021. Data entry for this return includes Form W-2 income, healthcare coverage, due diligence, the advanced child tax credit, and child care expenses. Use the scenario information provided in Practice 3 to complete the return. The scenario includes answers provided from the taxpayer's questionnaire and source document details. Before creating the tax return, review the taxpayer's information. Bassett and Greyhound are married and live together all of 2021 in Marietta, Georgia. The couple has 2 small children. Neither Bassett nor Gray is a non-resident alien or could be the qualifying child of another person. Both Bassett and Gray provided a copy of their driver's license. From the Drake Home window, click the Open Create button to start a new return. Enter the taxpayer's identification number and press Enter or click OK. Choose Yes to start a new return. Choose the return type to create. In this case, Individual 1040 is the default selection. Enter the taxpayer's name and select OK. The return opens to Screen 1, the Name, Address, and General Information screen. Based off the information provided, complete Screen 1, Name and Address and General Information. Bassett and Greyhound's filing status is married filing jointly. Tip: press F1 to display help for the selected data entry field. Note in this case, details about filing statuses. Press Tab on your keyboard to move through the fields. Enter the taxpayer and spouse's date of birth, occupation, and contact information. Select 0 in the resident state field, as this practice return is not covering state information. Bassett and Greyhound provided a copy of their state-issued photo ID. Select the ID link on the name and address screen to enter the ID information. After entering the ID information, press the Escape key on your keyboard to return to the name and address screen. For 2021, all taxpayers are required to answer foreign account and virtual currency questions, which Bassett and Greyhound provided answers to in the income section of the taxpayer questionnaire. They also stated that they received $2,800 from the rebate recovery credit for themselves and $2,800 for Terrier and Dachshund, their dependents. Answer each of the foreign account and virtual currency questions on the name and address screen. Select the screen link Recovery Rebate EIP to enter this information on the RRC screen. After completing the applicable fields on the RRC screen, press Escape on your keyboard to return to Screen 1. Use the HC link on the name and address screen to toggle to the healthcare screen. Bassett and Greyhound provided this information in the healthcare information section of the taxpayer questionnaire. After answering yes to the healthcare question, press the Escape key on your keyboard to return to Screen 1, Name and Address. Links to the direct deposit screen for returns with a refund, or electronic funds withdrawal for returns with a balance due, are available here on Screen 1 as well. Note that links provide the ability to quickly toggle between data entry screens. All screens are available from the data entry menu. Press Escape on your keyboard to save and exit the name and address screen. This takes you to the data entry menu for this return. Next, review the information in the scenario regarding dependents. To enter dependent information in Drake Tax, enter 2 in the Selector field and press Enter. Or, select Screen 2 Dependent Information from the Data Entry menu to enter information about the taxpayer's dependents, Terrier and Dachshund. First, enter information for Terrier based off the dependent section of the return scenario. Complete the dependent screen, including the dependent ID, date of birth, relationship, and the amount of child care expenses provided for each dependent. Child care expenses are reported on Form 2441. Click the Form 2441 link to go to Screen 2441. The Dachshund's principal residence was in the U.S. for more than half of the tax year. Answer yes to the principal residence question and complete the child care provider's information. The dependents on this return were both enrolled at Sunny Daycare, who charged $450 per month for each dependent, totaling $10,800. When this screen is complete, press Escape to return to the dependent screen. Press Page Down to enter the second dependent, Dachshund's information. The hounds provided IRS Letter 6419 stating the amount of advanced child tax credit received in 2021. Select the 8812 link on the dependent screen to access the 8812 screen. Enter the advanced child tax credit received, and then press the Escape key on your keyboard to return to the dependent screen. Certain due diligence questions are answered for each dependent. The Hounds provided answers to these questions on the taxpayer's questionnaire for the dependents and general due diligence questions about the tax return. Complete the due diligence questions for each dependent, and then select the link to go to screen 8867, where general due diligence questions for the return are documented. After completing this screen, press the Escape key on your keyboard to return to the dependent screen. Press the Escape key to close the dependent screen. Based off the taxpayer's questionnaire, the Hound's income originated from W-2s. To enter the taxpayer's W-2 information, select the Wages screen, or enter screen code W-2 in the Selector field and press Enter. Enter the taxpayer's W-2. If the W-2 being entered has more than 4 lines for boxes 12, 14, or more than 4 states, select the Additional Entries tab at the top of the screen. To enter another W-2, press Page Down. To learn more about entering multiple W-2s, select the hyperlink at the top of the screen to view a short video tutorial. After completing the spouse's W-2, press Escape on your keyboard to close the Wages screen. Note at any time during data entry, click View Print from the toolbar, or press Ctrl-V on your keyboard to view the tax return from view mode. Press Data Entry from the toolbar, or press Escape on your keyboard to return to the data entry screen you are working on. To quickly view a summary of return results, click Calculate on the toolbar, or press Ctrl-C on your keyboard. Return diagnostics can be viewed from either Calculate or View mode. Compare your return results with Practice 3 solution. This completes the demonstration of Practice Return 3.
That's pretty good. Okay, now let's get into the actual tax software to see how the tax return could be done together. Okay, so now I could split my screen. I can split my screen. So let's say I close this one. So I close all this like this. They've done a very good job. Number 3, video. Return. Okay, this is the scenario. So let's say if I want to, I can move this one. Let's say I want to split the screen like this and let go. Like this. Now, I've done this in the text software right now. This is based on all the information in here. Now, when you're talking about in here, if you have questions, you want to ask, you want to kind of like confirm, you hit F1 in here. When you highlight it, in this field. Do you know when you're working on something, they turn zeros. That's pretty cool. They highlight it. So at this moment, F1, they give you all the detail, what you're supposed to. Okay, and then escape, get back to it. In this situation, is Mary by Johnny. Okay. Now, all the space information are similar, like the first two classes, except there's a spouse in here. I think class 2 have spouse too, right? Okay, so now we are pretty good in here. This is the address. Normally, when you put the zip code, the address will show. Now, in the practice text exam, it tells you don't go to the state. You just put like this, which means only preparing the federal tax return for this moment. Okay, now, after this one first, and then I will change everything to California, I show you. Now, these two questions, if they don't have foreign asset, you check this. Check this means they don't have foreign asset to report, which means they either don't have foreign asset or they have less than 10,000, which is not required to report. Check this box. They have no virtual currency sold. In here, there's a ID information. And here, they're still using 2021. They say they have this much. For 2022, we may not have this one. Because so far, we have not been received any money yet. Unless they surprise us by Christmas, right? That would be nice. Okay. So, and then those are direct deposit, direct, so in here, if I want to get rid of this one, so escape. The first kit, you answer those, all the questions in here. So now, the most question easy to forget to check is this little one. The one above number 10. So is the normal answer is yes, no, skip, yes, all the way 4 in here. And in a normal, most of the time, the check in this way. But of course, you apply to your classic real situation, but in the most part, it comes out like this. But sometimes this one will be different, and then you have to say who they are. Especially when the parents divorce, and that's a lot of time, they need to be like that. Okay, in here, the child provider information, because they are very young, they're 4 years old by 2021. Check this little box. Now from here, you also have this dependent care. Can paste down. Go to the next kit. Now, we answer all the questions similar like last one. So now, in here, you need to answer the child, the care provider. In this situation, they both go to the same child care center. That's why there's only one of them. If in case they go to different, they will be different. Extra in here. The total of this should add to 2 of them together, which like here. Sometimes you don't have to use a 10 key to add it. You can use this function in here to add it for you. So that is better because when someone review your work, they know you do it right in here. And also, when you in here, you right click, like 450 times 12, they give you a number, and you can insert in here like this. So that this software pretty good, pretty handy. So now, the phone number need to provide it, as well as others in here. Now, if they are EIN, you check this little box. If they're not EIN, you'll be uncheck this, which will become a social. If they apply in here, you do this. Some child care provider, they are tax exempted, and you have to choose whatever they are. Okay. So now in here, we're good. We're good. Escape. We go to here. The W2 is pretty straightforward. Nothing really like. The second, now you remember in here, T stands for taxpayer. Now, the second one, page down, go to this S, spouse. It's also straightforward. So now, in here, you need to answer those questions in here. The first one, yes. Second one, yes. So the fourth question is no. It's double negative. Appear to be incorrect. Hey, if this is no, this is no, or this is yes. If this like this, you should not accept this client. If any of those, yes, yes, no is good answer. So this is the, after you do diligence, you think this is the very good client for you to take. Okay. When you go to all you can eat buffet, you only eat the things you like it and also good for you. When you in practice take your client, you also take the client after you do diligence, it's good for you. So in 6, 7, 6, 7, and then number 8 is not applying. And then now, if you don't check this 9, you won't get the earned income credit. In this situation, there is an earned income credit. If you don't check this one, it doesn't show. So you make sure you check this. So this head of household is supposed to be unchecked. The last one should be checked, yes. And then below there's no, no, yes, yes, and no. It is yes, yes, no, no, yes. In the most part, those are pretty standard yes and no questions. Now, in this situation, you still have one more in here, right here. You need to, from this drop-down menu, to pull the kid information out. And then you can put the child care, the school, you can put like this, Sunny daycare. If they, because they only have daycare. If you have, they go into school, you should put their school name in there. Okay, yes, yes. And here's no. down their daycare information. You need to do this, otherwise the earned income credit and the child tax credit doesn't show. Now, you don't need to do this because there's no self-employed. This is not apply head of household. So we close this one. We escape it. So now, let's look at it. The tax return, we do it. Page 1 is the same. Up to here is the same. Now, earned income credit is right. Here's the withholding. So what you have in here, we have child tax credit. The child tax credit, they already have some child tax credit like here. Those two add together. You see, I add those two together and divide by 2. That's how I figure out those two numbers in here. Oh, this is 2. So now, what that really means is the IRS send the money to the family each and every month for those people who have kids. So those are advanced tax credit. So you're going to minus those numbers. They're supposed to get this much. The kid under 6 years old is 3,600. Kid over 6 years old is 3,000. So total this, but they already get half of it. They still get another half. That's for 2021. And then those money come to here. Right here. Hey, do you know what's this? This is for the 2021. They change the law, and they allow you up to 16,000. Underline number 3, 16,000. So there's only 10,800, so they can use the all. And then the applied percentage is 50%. They get 5,400 as the tax credit for year 2021. Now, this is not the case for 2022. So now look at the solution in here, because the solution in here is already 2022. You see it? It's 2022. So the page 1 is the same. Well, except because the standard deduction is raised. So it's raised 800. So it's very similar to this. But in here, what you see in here is you got this, but you don't see this big money number. Right? You see it? 5,400, you don't see it in here. What that really means is the law allow the parents in the year 2021 have a huge daycare, childcare credit, and then only get it for last year. The year 2022, Look at number 3. It goes back to 6,000. So only in the year of 2021, they bumped 10,000 up. So therefore, and then also not only the amount limit to 6,000, but also the percentage decrease. The percentage was 50%. You remember? Right? You remember the and then here is only 21%. So then makes a huge difference. It was 5,400 versus 1,260. That's why you see the refund huge difference. It's because the one that I show it to you is 2021 tax software. The one under the solution is 2022 tax software produced. I believe the one that practice from the solution that they show it to you, they're using 2021 tax software, I believe, when they leave, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see the end result. No, I'm not going to. I just want to see the end result. Okay.
To view the tax return from view mode, press data entry from the toolbar or press escape on your keyboard to return to the data entry screen you are working on. To quickly view a summary of return results, click Calculate on the toolbar or press Ctrl-C on your keyboard. Return diagnostics can be viewed from either Calculate or View mode.
I only see there's only.
Compare your return results with Practice 3 solution. This
only 11,000.
Return diagnostics can be viewed from either Calculate or View mode.
Do you see it? It's only 11,000 something.
Compare your return results with Practice 3 solution. This completes the demonstration of Practice.
Now, because right now we are on between the software development and also the things like that. But nevertheless, for us, for the practice of number 3, and this is pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so now, but by the time we are going to do 2022, it's not going to be good. So you prepare those answers for some clients going to ask you. They're going to ask you, how come I have the similar income and same childcare, and how come last year was this much and this year was like less and far less? The reason is the IRS changed the rule. Right there. It was 16,000, now it's 6,000. And now it was 50%, now it's like 21%. Okay, now, any question would like to ask me? Anyone have questions? You're good? No questions? Okay, so with no question, we're gonna conclude today's training. Thank you very much and see you guys tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Great, thank you.
Good night.